Hi, it's Bob Pickett talking now with Ty Myers. And I got to tell you, Ty Myers, I want you to remember that name because you are taking off. And I'm just going to point this out. You're 17 years old.
Yes, I
17.
am.
When I was 17, I could not even write a high school essay. I had no idea.
Well, Bob, I tell you, I can't do that. So
No, Ty is 17. Ty is amazing on stage. We saw you earlier in the summer. You opened up for Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen part of their Hold My Beer tour. You were the opening act, and I very seldom do this, but the opening act. I mean, I'll catch a few songs. I'd stay there and watch your entire set.
Well, thank you.
There's something about you, and I
God.
think it's pretty cool. So let's talk about how you got there. Why did you give up football and baseball for a guitar?
Well, growing up, I didn't really have a choice.
Okay,
so
you
thank
say
God
that.
I loved music. It's like there was no escaping it in my life.
Yeah.
And so I fell in love with it immediately. And when this opportunity, this strange opportunity in my life came up to be able to follow a dream that not very many people get the opportunity to do, it was there was probably maybe a couple of days where we were like, oh, like this is life altering decision. But in the end, we were like, "This is the right thing to do." I mean,
you gotta go for it.
You never know if it'll come back around or if you'll have the opportunity again. And so,
well, listen, you're a proud Texan. You're from Dripping Springs.
Yes, sir. Right down the road.
Yeah, but you were homeschooled, and you did that because of the music career. Which there's got to be a lot of influence. Tell everybody who your dad is.
So my dad, his name's Michael Myers, which he is not a murderer. He is the musician. He, coming up while I was growing up, I was following him around dance halls.
Yeah.
And everything. He was a singer-songwriter, mostly around the Central Texas area. And so, my earliest memories are following him, to all of the dance halls around here, whether that be, the Spoke or, Albert, all of these dance halls around here, even the one in Dripping.
Legendary dance halls.
Yes, sir. And so, there's pictures of me 3 years old passed out on a bar top, way late.
That's the best education right there, though,
yeah,
really.
And so, that's kind of, if I had to say, a moment in time where it really, where the love really started, I'd say it's probably right there in the dance halls, just watching and listening to music all night long and locked in on it,
Okay, I'm going to ask you a stupid question. Ready?
I'm ready for it.
How old were you when you first picked up the guitar?
Seriously,
picked it up.
I was probably around 7 or 8.
Young?
Yes, sir. And I went to my dad. One of my dad's best friends lives in Dripping Springs. His name's Chad Hudson. I went.
Oh, I know Chad.
Yeah. I went there, and he gave me guitar lessons, and we're real close. He likes to say, he likes to take credit. I went to about 2 or 3 lessons, and realized, this is great, and I love it, but I love it so much that I think it's something I want to do on my own and really hone. So I've pretty much self-taught myself since I was about 8.
From YouTube and everything else? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. And by ear and any way else I can find to get better.
Yeah, that's how you got it made, when you teach yourself how to play the guitar. That's okay. Well, when did you really get serious about this career?
Well, I started writing. I started writing when I was about 8. When I started picking up a guitar, because that's all I knew. I knew that everybody that I saw play guitar wrote and sang and performed, and so that's what I started doing. I'd say I really started to do it heavily when I was probably 12 or 13 or so. Started writing, maybe 3 or 4 songs a week, kind of just pumping them out and just getting better. No expectations. I'm not really even. I'm still in school. I'm just doing it for the love of the game at this point. And so, once I started building a catalog up, me and my dad started doing these shows together, like 3-hour-long sets where we would just rotate back and forth and do originals, do covers, all acoustic. And at this point, my dad had kind of, retired and is really only doing it because I want to do it. And, these places, these bars and breweries that we were playing, it's hard for them to say, yeah, 12 years old, come on and play a show for all of our adults that are drinking. And so my dad kind of used his foot in the door to help me get in the door. And so we started doing these shows together, and I was playing football my sophomore year, and I completely blew out my knee.
Wow.
A game against Buda Johnson. Completely blew it out. I tore my ACL, MCL, PLC, anything you can name in there. And I had these songs that I had written, and we had planned on going into the studio, kind of just like, oh yeah, we'll do it. And I got injured, and we were trying to figure out a way, to keep my mind off of things because I couldn't play football and I couldn't play baseball that year just because the recovery time was so long. And so my mom started me a TikTok just to kind of get my mind off of things. And we went in the studio with Tommy Dedamore down south of San Antonio in Floresville, Texas, and recorded 4 songs and kind of just released them, not expecting it like anything.
So your sophomore year in high school, TikTok, you owe your success to TikTok.
I know.
It's so different these days,
It is. It's
but
wild.
that has led you to get a Nashville contract.
It's wild to think about.
Thank goodness it was your leg and not your arm.
Yeah, or my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's been a wild ride and really hard to believe for most of it. It's just like crazy that stuff like that can happen.
Well, your parents are going to be very proud of you, especially
very proud of me and very supportive, and I'm very thankful for that.
How many guitars do you have?
I try to keep myself. If I had my choice, I have way more than I have right now.
Okay.
But that's always going to be the case. I think I have around 10 right now.
Okay, around 10?
Yes.
Well, just remember, you can never have too many guitars. You can never have too many boots, which you probably know that being a Texan. Yeah.
I have too many of those too. No such thing as too.
What gets you focused on music? What is it that inspires you to sit down and to write another song?
I was just thinking about this yesterday. We were driving from Dallas area back home, and I was literally thinking about this. I was like, what is it that, because it's really like a burning sensation that I just can't get rid of, right? It's like I have to, and it's these ideas spark my mind, and it's like as soon as I can get a guitar in my hands, I gotta write this song idea that I have.
Wow.
And it's like my original thought was, well, it's for the fans, I wanna get my ideas out there, and that's part of it. But I think most of it is for myself, just to prove that I can just do that one more that I can, like something different that I can do in this next song that will display either how I feel or something I'm feeling in the moment right then. And it's like, and there's no better feeling than when you complete that song and you're like, oh my, like this is what I was looking for.
Do you ever go back to the songs that you first wrote and look back and say, man, I have come a long way?
Oh, yeah.
So you're not going to release those first songs that you wrote is what you're telling me.
Well,
right?
There's some in there that are pretty good. Probably not, the route I'm in right now. There's some old country songs that I wrote when I was 8 to 12 that, there's some...
You just want to refine them a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's just not even me anymore, but it's something so special to me that I've always held dear to my heart. And, I love looking back at those and realizing, how far I've come. But just like, wow, that's what started it.
Yeah.
It's awesome to me.
Is there a certain country artist that you want to be just like, that's your hero?
Country. John Mayer is my biggest hero.
Really? Okay, well, it makes sense with the guitar and everything.
Yeah,
how about country artists?
Country artists, well, I've always, rest in peace, Chris Christopherson's probably my favorite songwriter of all time.
Yeah.
And I remember, my earliest days.
That was poetry with Chris.
When I first started songwriting, I looked up to Chris so much. I was like, you're looking at this, and he's telling these lines in a way that you've never heard before, ever. And it's stuff different like that I think makes me interested in artists or songwriters. Just the way that they're able to change and do it their way, and change the industry or the whatever they're doing and make it more about them and their own specific way is always what's kind of intrigued me about.
That's well
artists.
put.
Yeah.
Very well put. Let's go back to TikTok. So you released 4 songs on TikTok. What year was this?
This was 2023 early, I believe. Or was it 2022? It might have been 2022.
Well,
this is
roughly.
You
about
see how this is like?
Yeah, so it's been moving fast.
Yeah, and so we released them in March. We released the first single in March. That was Tie That Binds. And it's actually a great story. And we, it was doing well. It was doing very well, better than we expected. And we're seeing the numbers climb, and we're like, wow, that's crazy. 10,000 listens on a song. That's wild. And so we were riding that high for a long time, and we went on vacation to Key West. It was one of my favorite places in the whole world. And that was in June of that year, so just a few months later. And we were actually staying in Marathon Key, not Key West. So we were staying in Marathon Key. I went to bed one night, and I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of notifications on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. Whatever, I'm going to bed. You know, put it down, I'm going to bed. And I get woken up the next morning by my sister, my older sister, and she's shaking me, and she's like, hey, have you seen this TikTok? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen this TikTok. What is this TikTok about? And I look at it, and it's a picture of me, and it's one of those, you know, copy and paste TikToks, like new artists you should be listening to if you haven't seen it already, part 260 something, you know, and it has like 300,000 likes. And I'm like, whoa.
Wait, how long had this been out?
Like a day or two. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening here? I'm like, this is weird, whatever, you know. But and so I get up and we get ready. We're going to Key West that day. We're going to drive. It's like a 45-minute drive. So we get ready. We're all talking about it. You know, that's crazy, a TikTok. On the drive from Marathon Key to Key West, 3 record labels reached out in 45 minutes. So when overnight success does exist, I guess.
Yes, dreams come true is what you're talking
yeah.
about.
I mean, it was an absolute surreal moment. Like the type of moment where you're like, this is not real, this is a joke.
On your first release, they reached out.
Yes.
How soon did you get back to them?
Oh, well, I think we took a moment.
Did you turn around and go back?
Whoa.
Or to continue on to Key West?
And so we did. We did go to Key West. We're on this high all day. But, you know, it was just crazy, you know, like, yeah, again, like, I can't believe this is even real. Yeah. Like somebody's playing a joke on me right now. Like, pinch me.
Well, like I told you the first time I saw you on stage, I mean, you can tell when you have it, when an artist has it.
Thank you.
You've got it.
I try.
You know, you've got it. It's going to be very interesting to watch your career take off and have other people. And I would say you're normally outside of Texas, but let me tell you, people outside of Texas, they already know about you thanks to TikTok. It's just crazy. You've got to share the stage, not only with Randy and Wade, but also with Willie Nelson.
Surreal.
You had to be nervous as hell.
Surreal. I don't ever get nervous. Like, it's a strange ability of mine, I guess you could call it. I don't know. I've never gotten like real nervous before a performance. Now, other stuff in life, different story. Yeah, I'll get nervous about dumb stuff. But for some reason on stage, I've never gotten nervous. I'll get a little anxious sometimes. Mm-hmm. But for that show, it was different. I was anxious, maybe a little nervous. I mean, it's just like a I can't believe this is actually happening right now. And then, you know, we played that whole show, and he likes to get his openers back on stage with him at the end of the night and sing gospel. And so that was amazing. I got to do that with a friend of mine, a now friend of mine, Coleman Jennings. So we got up on stage and sang "Will a Circle Be Unbroken" and "I'll Fly Away," I believe.
Yeah.
Those
2 songs.
And so we did those last 2 songs with him on stage, and it was amazing. I mean, it's insane. It's
you got to sing with Willie Nelson.
I know. I know. That's like one of those things that you are able to say for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it happened so early in mine, because I get more years to talk about.
Oh boy, you need to go down and get your photo made with the Willie Nelson statue downtown Austin, right there. Unbelievable. What's next? The new song is called
"Can't Hold Me Down" is the next song that's coming.
Did you write it?
I did write it.
You got a story behind it?
I did. It's about, you know, just being on the road and you know, it's a classic tale, they say, but you know, just musicians, relationships are hard. And
tell me about it.
Yeah. Relationships are hard, period. And then when you add being gone for the majority of your life, it makes it a little difficult. And so it's a song about kind of not being able to be held down and kind of being a wild soul and restless. And I think it's a great song. I think it's something we definitely needed. It's a upbeat song, kind of gets me fired up. I hope it gets other people fired up, but I'm excited about it coming out.
Well, I cannot wait to hear. I can't wait for our listeners and watchers to discover more about you and your amazing career. Ty Myers with us right now.